All right. Welcome to another episode of The Real Shanta 56. This is your boy, your host, Lou here for Evening Crypto. And tonight we're going to do a quick little recap of what's been going on. We see Bitcoin pumping to 9,200 back over the 9,000 level again. Is this going to hold or is it going to come back? That's kind of the question on everybody's mind after this price action here. We are seeing sort of a similar to a rounded bottom here, which ends up being a typical bullish resolution. Although it could be said that we could be forming a cup and handle as well. So we'll get into that here in just a little bit. Let's also talk about some stocks. Let's also talk about what's going on in traditional markets. If you aren't playing traditional market stocks, ETFs, you are missing out. I've told you that in this channel many times. You should be, if you consider yourself a crypto investor, um, you should also consider playing into stocks and ETFs. I know in the crypto sphere is sort of an anarchist sentiment that usually people will hold, but I'm here to tell you that you are definitely missing out, and you are also missing out on the edge that comes with traditional markets and stocks, trading stocks, trading ETFs. There is a lot of good um, resourceful information that is not available for crypto, and there's also a lot of reliable indicators that are so much more true when it comes to trading stocks than it is when trading crypto. So, just my opinion, but I do think that if you guys are not taking advantage of that, you should. There is a lot of money to be made. I would say more so because, again, that information on stocks is way more realistic than any other crypto or altcoin in particular. Not so much for Bitcoin because we know Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, those have been around for a while, have stood the test of time, and usually indicators will be pretty true for those. So, other than that, though, you know how I feel about altcoins in this channel. I don't like to really trade those a whole lot. So, anyway, that's beside the point. Let's actually do a little recap. If you're not following me on Twitter, I usually send out alerts and updates on Bitcoin charts and maybe some trade alerts, that sort of stuff. So, and it's all free. So you guys can feel free to join me at the Real Chauncey 56 on Twitter and also on Instagram, same handle. And obviously your YouTube channel here, you guys. If you're not following yet, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do so now, and so you guys can stay updated whenever I put out new content here. Doing a quick recap of the market cap, we're currently at 256 for the entire market cap, 102 billion dollars for 24-hour trading volume, which had me a little worried because I mean, if you look at the volume indicator down here, we're looking at the 1 hour. Let's actually bring it up to like a 4 hour. See the 4 hour still, sort of lackluster there. There's not a whole lot of volume coming in. There's been plenty of buyers coming in, so that explains why the push back up to over 9,000. But does it actually hold? I mean, this is definitely a rally here. These two 4 hour green nodes here, it's buying pressure, getting above the exponential here. That is a true move. But what we need to see is follow through. We're not seeing follow through here. I would have liked to see these volume nodes in green here go above the exponential and stay in par, if not above these prior to volume nodes on the 4 hour. If we look at the daily here, look at the daily. The daily looks weak. I mean, looks really weak. I'm not trusting this. I don't think it's going to hold. We're currently sitting right where this leveling, if you will, just a few days ago, last week, happened, and we built a short base here. Not enough. I don't think it's enough to really mean much, except then typical support or resistance. But it doesn't, based on this volume. And then let's actually bring up the RSI here on the daily. We did get a bullish cross here on the daily. We're gonna have to see some volume to really catch try to catch this train on the way up, because right now I'm to full disclosure, I'm not holding any positions here. I've gotten completely out of Bitcoin. I'm holding zero altcoins, zero Bitcoin. I'm only holding stocks. So I don't trust this as of right now. Again, I do need to see rising volume. Look at this. Also, look at this here. Just volume just seems to be on the downward trend here, and this is pretty typical, right? I mean, we see this sort of behavior here with volume whenever we are consolidating, right? So this is indicative of consolidation, which is not a big deal. But actually, we can see the volume indicator a little clearer here. But what I'm trying to say is, we go on these on this consolidative volume trend. I mean, we could probably go as probably go this way here, and then finally we have a breakout in volume. And we also have a breakout in the price of Bitcoin, as we can see here. This node accounted for, let's see, about 13%, a 13% move, right about this candle here, with decisive volume, followed by a red node here, but it didn't matter because there was plenty of buying there. The bears did edge out the bulls, but we did have continuation. So that is the kind of thing that I want to see here, and we're not seeing it. So I don't necessarily want to buy this move. I actually want to stay put where I'm at without a position and wait for confirmation. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And you guys know that for the medium term, I think I told you in my last video that I am not feeling this. I'm just not feeling bullish right now. And not to mention that Head and Shoulders is one of those formations that can easily be called on a lot of things that we did see here. This could be the left shoulder. This could be the right shoulder. Kind of like we're seeing here, the right shoulder. This could be the left shoulder in the making right now, and then lead us down to a just a breakdown of this formation. And like I said, I've been saying on Twitter and I've been saying on these videos that I do think we're not only going to come down below the 200 EMA here, which is just a big indication that things are going to get worse if we break down below it, especially on a daily time frame. We should be coming down to retest. What are we going to call this? We're going to call this about 5706. So we should be at some point coming down to retest. Now, I did tweet this out earlier in the week, and likeliness we see $8,100 Bitcoin this week, inevitable. That was earlier in the week. Now, it's probably this sort of push up. There's two scenarios here. It either lags on the way down to 8,100, and by that I mean we may not see it this week. We might see it next week, just because of this short hop here. I don't know. I don't know if we want. I don't really want to call it a bounce, but more of a hop. I mean, it is above the 30 simple and the 21 here, so it's still sort of a bullish posture. I'm just not seeing the follow through here, guys. So I'm just not too convinced at all. I really want to see again more buyers come in and push the price up. But on a daily though, if we close this daily, I mean, this is a brand new daily candle, right? So we closed this daily candle, this prior daily candle here, we closed it above the 21. Now, is it above the 30? I mean, it's right underneath the 30, right? But then, the next daily candle did open up above, and we currently are trading above. If we get to close this candle above this 30 here, I was thinking more like 93.50 would be the catalyst. But I think at this point, if we end up closing this current daily candle, this brand new daily candle, as of an hour and 30 minutes. If we end up closing this daily candle above the 30 here, I think we can run with little volume but it's an indication that I think might trigger some buys from a lot of bots. So yeah, I do think it's an indicator for bots, and I do think we're going to get some true buying pressure if we do, if we can hold above the 30. If not, then you know what that means. We're probably going to rest again on top of this line of previous support, this green line here coming across that coming around 89.50. I do think we're probably going to cradle Bitcoin here for a little bit before we actually head down. Again, this is the one thing where I put a lot of attention is the volume indicator. We need to see some buyers come in here and support this run. Otherwise, I think it's a fake run. Although RSI stochastic is pointing to the upside, we did have a bullish cross here, so there's a little bit of conflicting information. So that's why I'm saying I'm going to rely on the volume to really lead us in either direction, up or down. Up obviously will be some green candles, down some red candles. Wisdom decision above the exponential here. That's decisive. That's decisiveness in the market. That's the market talking to you and letting you know where things are going to be headed. 4 hour is also looking pretty tired here from an RSI perspective. Looking very, very topish here. Looking like it actually is becoming ready to have a sort of flattening out. And if we do flatten out here, again, I do also start to lean bearish here on Bitcoin. So let's see, money indicator. Here's money flow indicator is telling us that things are looking pretty bearish as well. I mean, we look at this here. Cannot get past this level of money flow here. Not enough. Again, not enough conviction in this run. So I do think again. Another indicator that is telling me that we should be careful here and not enter a position here. If you want to do a scalp long, you might be able to, but I mean, I would make that a true scalp, a very, very short scalp. Another conflicting information on the daily here, even though we got a bull cross here with the RSI, look at the money indicator also pointing downward drastically, I mean, this is an indication that money is just really, really, really coming out, not going in. So when it comes to looking at the volume here, this volume here could be representative of a lot of sellers coming into the space here. So keep that in mind, guys. Let's see. All right, so do want to bring you guys an update on some of our stocks. Now, let's do the update first. So the indices are starting to look pretty topish here, but I mean, pretty extended here as well. But that is only indicative of a bullish market, right? So if we look at traditional markets prior to the pandemic, look at how overextended in the bullish territory they were, right? It extended amounts of time in the bullish territory, but again, it's indicative that we are in a bull market. And then here we go here. We did have a little bit of a break here, not even getting into the bearish territory here, and then immediately coming back up with some conviction here, a lot of buying volume and setting all-time highs here with the S&P. And then we hit the pandemic and all shit broke loose. We did bottom out here, and then we stayed down below for an extended amount of time. So we do see the RSI letting us know that we this bear market was definitely extended, and then we saw a nice little recovery here. We've been riding this recovery here. Again, this is why I do recommend getting into stocks, because I mean, look at the opportunity that we got here. That was a massive 35%, and this is massive for when you're talking traditional markets. This is a pretty massive, significant move. We don't typically see these types of moves in traditional markets. So this is where you find a lot of opportunity. It's pretty foolproof. It's pretty reliable information. So if you're not, here, follow the channel, make sure you're tuning into these videos, and I give you guys some tips and some information on the stocks that you should be following based on current events such as COVID-19. So again, we are starting to see an extended sort of bull run here. In fact, I was thinking that we were going to probably start to have a little nice breather here in correction, come back down to what is this, about 28, the higher part of 2,800 here on the S&P. When in fact we just continued to rally upwards. I did sell out of about 30% of my positions here just to have some cash and just to make sure that if we do have a correction to the downside, maybe a retest of the 21 or 55 would not be certainly out of the cards, especially if we look at, let's take these drawing tools out, especially if we, as we are right now, we are currently on a S&P, we're looking pretty bullish. This is a very, very bullish stance here. I mean, above the 200, above all the lower moving averages, above the higher moving averages, is 377, the 200 SMA and MA. Both are below the price action here or the index at current numbers here. So a retest of the 200, the 30 would certainly be something that I'd be looking for, and also an impending golden cross here. So we have the 55 coming in here right underneath and starting to inch up towards the 200 now. Full disclosure, I'm not a huge fan. I've let you guys know in the past that these bullish or bearish crosses are significant, but just remember that it's sort of a hindsight sort of trade, because in order for these two, or in order for the 255 to cross either way, up or down, for a bullish or death cross, there's got to be a significant amount of price movement either which way before we see the cross. So in other words, we had to see this massive drop in price action in order for that 55 to start crossing downward on the 200 MA, right? Same thing goes now. Look at all this buying activity. Look at this bull run here that had to take place in order for the 55 to actually recover and try to get above the 200. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's false, or it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I'm just telling you, this is not contradicting information. I'm just telling you, like, it takes a while for that to build. Either which way, it took a while for I mean, this was a massive drop. So the 55 is a more volatile indicator. So obviously, it's going to be quicker to move and adjust to price action to try and come back and meet it, as opposed to the 200. But again, at the same time, that volatility is going to drive that 55 because it is it responds. It's more sensitive to volatility, is what I'm trying to say. So again, look at this extended run. Now the 55 is trying to catch up to price action here, and it looks like it wants to cross upward into a golden cross over the 200. So if we do get that, I do think we're going to have some more fuel to the fire. I do think we're probably going to come back and retest the prior high, the all-time high for the S&P at 3189 or somewhere close to that. And this could be coming at before the end of the year, as we do see that things are starting to reopen. We see gas prices starting to actually adjust upwards. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I filled up for $1.10 at the gas station. Unheard of. In I don't think I've filled up. I don't think I've filled or paid for a gallon that low of a gallon for gas in over 20 years or something like that. I don't want to age myself here, but damn, it's been a freaking long time since I've paid $1.10 for a gallon of gas. That was just astounding and something to remember. So anyway, let's get into some calls and give you guys some updates. So DEX is one ETF that I've been telling you guys about. We did break out of this line of resistance here. Let's actually put a line here so we can see it clear. Right where the price is resting at right now, that was the line to break out above, and we did see that. Been writing this since about 10 down here somewhere, like in the $12 or $11 range. We got in this, and we told you guys about this because again, this is one of those things. This is an industry that is not going to go away. Although some individual companies might go under, and the CEO of Boeing did go out a couple of weeks ago and said that he does expect at least one company to go under and maybe be absorbed by another company, by another airline. That was pretty much the kiss of death, right? So. Although, with all that said, and Mr. Warren Buffett going out and saying that he was wrong about his play on specifically Southwest Airlines and a couple other airlines, He is probably kicking himself in the butt right now for saying that and actually getting out of his airline positions, because we do see that a lot of these airlines are starting to see more bookings where they're starting to see an uptick in travel. And so we do see the reaction here in the price of some ETFs and individual stocks. That's actually BA, which is another one that I believe long term you should be racking up, especially at sub 150 levels. I've been buying since 102 dollars when BA hit $102. I started buying into that, so that is definitely one to hold. All right, so Jets, and I do like Delta because Delta and actually United have a pretty strong balance sheet, even though they did some buybacks and whatnot. So they're still pretty sound financially. And if there's going to be a recovery, these guys are on the up and up. They're in the forefront of that recovery. So and not to put anybody down or leave anybody out, like Southwest, American Airlines, those guys can definitely make a comeback. If you look at American Airlines, has been another one that's about to break out. Not quite like Jets. The Jets is the ETF, right? They're going to hold a basket of these individual stocks. So if you don't want to bet on any individual stock, you can always pick up some Jets and ride that on the up and up. So that is one of the calls that we gave you guys. INO is one of those that, although it's been troubled by some pieces of news here, we are starting to see a nice little upward trend here where we start drawing this here. Or it's definitely building sort of a rising wedge. Now this was a previous formation that we had run out, so it's now we thought that it was gonna end here. This nice little run was gonna end here and come back and retest. We actually broke out above this descending line of resistance and actually broke above it. So, but some negative information came out that we're probably not going to get a vaccine anytime soon. Not within this year is apparently is what people have been saying, the so-called experts. So we do have to adjust our mindset here a little bit, but not too much, as we do see here again. This is sort of a rising wedge here. Now, ultimately, this type of formation would actually break bearish typically, right? But here's what I'm expecting to happen. I am expecting to see a bounce here and a retest of this top line of new resistance here, 1, 2, and then a third time here. So that is sort of what I'm expecting here. This move upwards back into the $16 to $17 range. I am holding some INO, and I have added below the 21 here. I added at the 21, I added below the 21, so that is one position that I'm adding more onto. So not that you have to do that, not financial advice, but that's what I'm looking at. The now the RSI is leaning towards there's some downward momentum left to be played. So I mean, I would not be surprised if we do see the price of INO actually deep reach down below this line of support here. Let's actually change that to a green so you guys know what that means, as we usually do here in this channel for clarity purpose. So again, I would not be surprised if we dip down below it, but as long as we're not closing any significant candles below this area, I am still bullish on INO for the longer period of things. Again, INO is a big player, and they're top of the race when it comes to coming up with either a vaccine or some sort of solution for coronavirus. So you bet it's gonna have something to say before somebody goes out and claims the number one spot within regards to a solution to coronavirus. Another one we've been following closely is Moderna. Moderna is another one that you need to be aware of, and you need to be adding to your position. I have actually been adding at the 21 and at the retest of the 55 here. Look at this, just textbook support here. We built a nice little base here at support, and we are respecting that. Moderna is respecting that level of support at the 55. And look at this hammer candle here. Long wick to the downside. Nice little square body here, nice little hammer candle, which you guessed it, is indicative of a reversal here. So I did add to Moderna here as of today. I added at least a couple more shares of that, and I have, like I said, been adding on the way down. So I do believe, again, this is another top player in the search for a vaccine and remedy. Don't go to sleep on Novavax. NVAX is another one that has had plenty of price action. I've told you guys about these place a long time ago, maybe 2 months ago, and look at the type of returns they've offered. I'm not going to go all the way down, just so you can tell the kind of moves that we've seen. 262%, more than 262% year to date. If we go back to January 24th, at the top, 934%. Ridiculous. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've written it all the way. I have not. I've written in and out of it. I did catch this move from this candle all the way up here, and decided to get out at about $45. Missed that on this last year. And that's every trader's problem, right? We a lot of times get out a lot earlier than we're supposed to. But I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain about a 164% move. I'm not gonna do that. Guild is again another one that's starting to recover here. Lost this formation here, but it's actually trying to gain its way back up into the 55. If you see Guild come back above the 55 and build a nice little base there, I do think there is going to be room to quite possibly come back and retest 85. Especially if new news. These guys have a new medication out there into the marketplace that they're doing some robust testing on. Remdesivir. It's been generating a lot of buzz around that medication. So I do think that these guys again are one of those at the forefront of finding a remedy to this COVID-19. So look out for that. And we've recently added heavily into MRK. That is Merck and Co. You guys can look it up on whatever platform you're using, but this is going to be another one to follow, right? We've added, and the reason is they've actually acquired a couple of laboratories to build on their infrastructure. They're close to the leaders when it comes to coming up with a vaccine or remedy for coronavirus, and they've also partnered up with a couple of other pharmaceutical companies. So they just in the last 24 to 48 hours, these guys have been really busy acquiring companies and partnerships. So this is one that you're going to want to really pay close attention. Like I said, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I am long on MRK, and that is one that I'm currently holding myself. SRNE is going to offer a lot of volatility. I do think it is setting up for a nice run up, a nice correct. Just another run to the upside here. It probably is going to run into some resistance right about here, right around 681. But again, there is definitely some room for a nice little play here. Let's just say if you do decide to get in on it sooner rather than later, that's still a 30% run. I am locked and loaded on Sorrento Therapeutics, among others, the previous ones that I've mentioned. Nice little retest of the 30 here, and I do think, I think it's gearing up for a second run up to 81 there. Again, not financial advice, just sharing what I'm doing. Vonda is one that's been range bound, and it's pretty locked in, pretty sure thing. If we just kind of map out what we've been seeing here, actually, let's go down here. Right. Okay. Here, change that. Right. So another retest of this line of support here. It's probably going to come back and retest this upper part of the channel here. So from here to here, that's another 11%. That's not too bad. These are the kind of numbers that you're used to seeing in crypto as well. 10, 12, 15%, 30%. These are the type of moves that crypto is famous for. you're still able to see this in stocks. And again, the information is way more reliable than in short life altcoins. This is why I would prefer any day of any time, any day. I would prefer to trade on stocks than number 135 altcoin on CoinMarketCap. New beverage is one that I'm also holding. It's doing okay, not quite. I mean, it did try to break out here, but it failed. But I'm still holding it for the longer term. Now, here's another one. I just full disclosure here. I did enter into a call on BNO for October expiration date. It's out of the money call, slightly out of the money, to be honest. My strike price is $11. My expiration date is October of this year. I do believe wholeheartedly that the price of gasoline, oil, brute, crude is going to go up between now and October. And I do think this is a very promising move. You guys don't have to follow me down that path, but I'm just letting you know what some of these calls. MRO as well is another Marathon Oil Corporation is a great little stock that own long term. Just like airlines, these guys are going to offer a lot of upside. I mean, it's still very much in the downward ranges from this massive dip from the coronavirus. So again, these are ones that you should be accumulating at these ranges. If you see it going anywhere below the 21, I'm going to be adding to my positions immediately. So that makes also the Occidental Petroleum Corporation is another one that I am holding a nice little position in. I'm not going too crazy on this one, but I'm definitely adding to it as and if the price comes back down, because again, it's one of those that's been stuck down here. So it's building up for a nice little breakout once. And again, we have seen prices of gasoline go up. MU is another one. I don't know if I told you guys about MU. Where's my MU ticker? Another one that I've been following in and out. Where is my NU, guys? Where did you? Oh, here we go. All right, and it should have an orange little ticker next to it. There we go. Look at that move today. I've been writing it since about $42, $42 down here. And look at this sector here. I've not seen it so far. So about 14%. So I did sell half of my position on MU after this run. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I might actually exit the other half, but you definitely want to watch this going forward. We have 1, 2, 3 tries at this level here. This could be this is why I'm not letting go of my entire position, as I sometimes can do and make the mistake of getting out too early. We do see quite a potential to have a nice little breakout move up until these ranges here. Up to these ranges here. So that would be probably another 10 to 13% move from here. Yeah, 10%, another 10%. If we do see a breakout here, this is where, and you guys can go on here and set yourself some little alerts. If the price goes above $50, I do think we could potentially see a breakout in the making. Again, that's MU, Micron Technology. Also, a lot of money moving into the June call, June expiration calls. Look at this volume note here, just absolutely phenomenal. So there's a lot of money flowing into the June expiration calls here. I believe they do have an earnings call in early June. So this is definitely an indication that a lot of good money, a lot of smart money is flowing into MU there. There's going to be a lot more companies having earning calls. If you think of a stock, leave it down below in the comments that is performing pretty well during this pandemic and it's having a positive earnings call. That is something to really keep an eye on. So make sure you leave it down in the comments here on the YouTube section. Also, don't go to sleep on Facebook, guys. Facebook looks like a reversal candle here already. I mean, just a quick little retest, touch and go over 30, and it looks like it just wants to go. Now, a couple of things with Facebook recently. So they've announced that they are going to. They've already, I think, already launched their sort of Amazon-like marketplace setup where a lot of businesses that host their own Facebook pages are going to be able to sell products off of their Facebook page. Wow. So this is going to be a great move for Facebook. It's going to bring a lot of business, and it's going to be able to compete with Amazon. Why? And Alibaba as well. Why? Because it's got the technology, it's got the manpower, it's got the resources, it's got the know-how. They've actually partnered up with Shopify. If you don't know about Shopify, their stock has gone through the roof, especially now with its partnership with Facebook of none other. I mean, they've already have like close to 3 billion users worldwide. So just imagine what that means, guys. So this is one that you definitely don't want to go to sleep on. I actually entered into a small position because the price of this stock is already pretty high, and this run has been extended. I will leave. I do have a limit sell if we do hit my trigger. I will get out of it, but at these levels, and being that we are sort of printing this reversal candle here at the end of today's market, I am still bullish on what Facebook can do. And number two, the second aspect of this whole thing is that Facebook is also why am I forgetting the second one? I think I've been talking for too long. Jesus. Oh, we can come back to it. Or can we? Let's go to AT&T. Nice little breakout. I got a tip from one of my. Also, this reminds me. So, got a tip from one of my group participants. So, I told you guys in my last video, I am hosting a WhatsApp free group. I'm not charging for anything. You just have to sign up for a Robinhood account. The Robinhood link is in the description of this video. I got a tip from somebody in this group that AT&T was going to break out, and voila. This is mainly due because of, I guess, HBO launched a partnership with AT&T, and they're doing their own version of Netflix. HBO, the creator of GOT, has, I guess, partnered up with AT&T, and that was the whole premise of why this move was in the making. So this is one of the tips that we give out. I also talked about Sabre here, Sabre Corporation, one that I'm currently holding and still very bullish on. We did see a breakout here above the 55 and above this line of support here. So that is one call. Again, another call that I was giving out to everybody in the group. So if you want to join the group, two things: you have to sign up for a Robinhood account, and actually three things. You reach out to me when you open up your account. Send me a direct message here on YouTube or on Twitter, and then the last thing is you have to have a WhatsApp, right? Just download the WhatsApp app, and you are ready to go. Also, the other thing I want to talk about, say or mention within the Facebook thing is, they've actually changed the Libra or Calibra name to something else, which I think, again, this rebranding might actually help Facebook's case, as it received very negative response, especially from Congress in the United States. So now they've decided to go ahead and rebrand their Calibra wallet to Novi, N-O-V-I. So I do think that's going to play in Facebook's favor, this rebrand and sort of recalibration of Calibra wallet. Because of those two items that we just mentioned, I am bullish on Facebook. So again, go back to Sabre. Again, another play where we saw a lot of smart money going into the June expiration contracts or June expiration calls. A lot of smart money coming into that. The Sabre calls for June went through the roof. So there's a high premium on them right now. That's why I'm not touching them. I did go in pretty deep on Sabre myself. So if you want to get in this trade, I do think there's a little bit of time left. Where we might go actually looks like there's going to be some resistance. I don't expect this to really mean much in between the 55 and 200 SMA here at around 1057. I do think this move is definitely possible from where we are to that point. It'll be about 27% move. So I am holding that. Again, a nice little position on that. So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of the information I'm bringing out. Again, this is all free information. If you guys want more and other people giving you tips and you guys want to contribute, this is an information sharing group that I'm hosting. You guys can join for free. There's no setup, and you get a free stock when you join. So why not? There's nothing to lose, everything to gain. And again, if you're new to stocks and want to start maybe considering to trade stocks, why not? It's completely free, and you have these videos to go along with it. Also, if you guys want some additional resources, go follow the Traveling Trader. That guy is also a force to be reckoned with when it comes to traditional markets and crypto as well. All right, so we went over the crypto markets earlier. Be careful when trading these. I don't think, again, unless we see the nice uptake in volume come in on the buying side, I don't think that this run is going to hold. All right, so careful out there, guys. Hope you got something in exchange for your time today. If you're not subscribed, please hit the notification bell, and please reach out to me if you guys are interested in joining the free group. Again, you're going to get a free stock. Who else is going to give you free money? All right, guys, the Real Chance 56. This is Evening Crypto. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Good night.